and welcome to HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. My name is Sami Isamail.
And I'm Trey, Dixon, and the two of us just saw Get Hard. Get Hard is the new film starring Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, and it centers on a man who, after being arrested for alleged fraud, is afraid of being raped in prison and finds the only black man that he knows and asks him to help him survive in prison. Yes, I know there are a lot of things wrong with that sentence. So, Sami, what did you think of Get Hard?
First of all, I watched it first and then I forced you to watch it, so...
Yes, and thanks for that.
Okay. So, I didn't think it was the best movie. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I went to this movie expecting to laugh because it has Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell in it.
Very funny.
And I don't think that it was disappointing. I thought I was laughing through all of it. There were some very controversial parts that were a little bit racial, and
I wouldn't say a little bit.
Yeah, they were a little bit racist.
Straight
they were
up.
racist.
No, this movie is racist. It's a racist movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's completely racist. It's a mean-spirited, ugly, pointless, unfunny movie, and it was awful, and I hated it. I'm sorry to chop it off like that, but that's just how it is. This movie is one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. Why did you drag me to it?
Well, I enjoyed it. You're making me sound
No,
like
it's
a
not.
really bad person
No,
for enjoying it.
Different tastes
laughed.
for different people, and if
Yeah.
you laugh, you laugh. I didn't.
Uh,
I thought this movie was just ugly to the core. There are two central gags for this film, and they use racism in order to be funny, and they use homophobia to be funny. I can't really talk about what makes this movie homophobic without having to completely censor this whole show, but they use racism in a way that isn't quite appropriate. Let me throw up a quick preemptive self-defense. I don't abide racism. I think it's wrong. It should not be tolerated. That being said, in movies, racism can be used for comedic effect. Just look at Blazing Saddles or Borat, or listen to Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock. It can be funny. But this movie...
if you're gonna bring up stuff like Borat, I think Borat is more racist.
No, you see...
It's just Borat
let's
directly says this is how people from that part of the world are.
Let's take a
But
look
if
at...
you take this movie, it's laughing at itself.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's
Let's take a scene from Borat and use that as an example. In Borat, there's a scene, there's a parade that these people from, where is it? Kazakhstan. They have a parade called the Running of the Jew, where there is this man in a giant, grotesque mask running down a street, and it stops being, it pokes fun at the racists. Those people are the ones who are being made fun of, and not Jewish people.
But they were pretty much they were kind of making fun of Will Ferrell's character for being racist, right?
I would no.
He's
I
this
didn't.
clown character.
Look. The whole movie is about how this guy thinks he's gonna get raped in prison, so he finds the one black person to help him.
But it's
survive
also
on
but it's also saying that Will Ferrell's character is not strong. I mean, it cannot be.
I don't think the movie's smart enough to be knowingly making fun of its main character. That's the only way you can make racism funny is if by pointing at the racism.
Is there anything you enjoyed about this movie?
There was one time I laughed.
That's what I want to know.
There was one point where I laughed. There was a Boys in the Hood reference that made me laugh. But other than that, I wanted to leave. Leave. Like, get out of the theater and drive away and take a bath. I felt dirty. It's not a good movie, seriously. It is mean-spirited and really not okay.
I don't know. When I was in the theater, I don't think anybody was like just sitting in their chair or crying or anything. I think they were generally, everyone around me was laughing. Not just laughing, they were...
See, I was in a screening where no one was laughing. No one was laughing, and if you have politically incorrect humor, you can make it work. but you have to be laughing alongside with it. But if you're looking at all this politically incorrect stuff and it's happening, and you're sort of just sitting there and you're waiting for it to be funny, and it starts to get uncomfortable, and you start squirming, and you realize, oh, this isn't good. This is uncomfortable. There's a lot of racist, homophobic jokes that are flying over my head, and I'm not connecting with any of it. So, yeah, I hatred was inspired in me with this movie.
Complete hatred.
Hatred, yeah.
Okay.
It's wrong, and there are a lot of people who were talking about. There was some controversy when it premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and people were talking about, oh my God, it's so controversial, it's so racist, and some people were saying it's not that bad. It is. No, it is that bad.
I didn't find it that bad. I just found it to be full of energy, full of Kevin Hart's energy that he brings to every performance that he uses, that he does. Will Ferrell's being the person that he is, like a goofy sort of character, this big, giant, tall clown.
The thing about
that he always is.
The thing about Will Ferrell,
which is why I don't think that it was being racial. I think it was being humorous. I didn't think that I don't think that it was very. I don't think it was very offensive.
Even if you can look at it that way, which
he's representing.
He's
representing the few people
who are that disassociated with the world around them. They would consider.
That's why they.
I disagree. I don't think the movie's that smart enough to make that connection. And as far as Will Ferrell's concerned, this whole man-child thing that he does, it has to run its course eventually. Kevin Hart is a great rising talent. Some of his movies aren't really great, but I think he's a funny comedian. With Will Ferrell, we have proof that he can do better than this. I don't know if you ever saw Stranger Than Fiction.
I didn't see
but the guy can act. He doesn't have to resort to this man-child behavior. It makes the whole movie feel stale. On top of the racism and homophobia, there's just this stale, been there, done that. Will Ferrell doing the same crap that he's done time and time again. When it's not trying to be edgy but screwing up and just being awful and mean-spirited, it just feels like something you've seen before.
Yeah. Okay, well, how would you rate this film?
A 3.
3 out of 10.
A 3 out of 10.
Wow.
And that's very generous. I really, no, I hated this movie. I hated this movie.
Okay, you hated it.
I
get it. We all get it.
And it's a well-made film, and that's the most disappointing part. It's a well-made film, and that's the most disappointing part because you have all these talented people working together to make this thing that will now exist somewhere. And
okay. All right.
What did you give it?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Thank you for watching HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews.
A very, very passionately hateful review.
We are brought to you by the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program and HCC TV. Visit us online at www.hccs.edu
Trey.
and enroll yourself in the art of filmmaking. Thank you.